This video isn't scripted, so I'm probably going to mumble more than I usually do. Hello there. This video is a little bit different than what I usually do because I wanted this video to be quick. I realized that there's a lot of topics that I would like to talk about, but I don't think they deserve or would generate a bigger video. And I have a lot of things going on in my life, so I feel like making these short videos every once in a while about topics that are going on is probably going to be something that I will be doing more frequently, just so I can release videos a little bit more often. I'll still do like the other basically tiny video essays that I normally do. I'll still do these relatively frequently, but I think that would be good. What I want to talk about today is the new Pokemon Direct. The Sinnoh remake got announced. For those who aren't familiar with Pokemon, basically Game Freak, which is the developer behind Pokemon, has this thing that became kind of expected for the fans of every time there's a new generation, the time where the company is focusing on a particular line of Pokemon or a particular region of Pokemon that just got released with a new game. Normally every couple generations they're going to release a remake of an older generation. This is the remake of the Gen 4 games, and we are on Gen 8. 8? Yeah, we're Gen 8. And people were asking for this for a while now. Like, people are asking for this ever since Gen 7. And now that it was announced, it is really funny. What people were expecting was that Game Freak was going to mess it up somehow, and they kind of did, but first we're going to address a second thing, actually two things, before talking about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Pokemon Legends to me, was like the main thing of this announcement, because to me, Pokemon Legends is what Game Freak should be doing for a while now. Basically, Pokemon Legends was announced as a spin-off game of the Pokemon main series, but the focus of Pokemon Legends is exploring an already existing region, but in the past, and it's going to be a story-focused, open-world RPG. This is insane. This is nuts. It should have already been done. Like, this is the direction that Pokemon should be going. The thing about Pokemon that makes it very appealing, or at the very least to me, other people might have different experiences, but one of the best parts of Pokemon is the exploration of finding new things, finding new Pokemon, finding new people. And because of this, I always thought that it was a genre that would work really well with open world, and a lot of people think that way too. But the thing is, Pokemon is also an extremely IP restricted franchise. I think it's a little bit because of like company trauma. It's very rare for Pokemon to deviate from the formulas that the other games have. The most ambitious game in terms of deviating from what you normally expect from a Pokemon game, in my opinion, is Generation 5. And when that came out, it was a big noise. A lot of people were complaining about the generation, which is really funny because I think now it's wildly considered the best one, probably. But yeah, because of Gen 1ers, which is like the term for people who really fucking like the first generation of Pokemon, and also nostalgia, and also the fact that that is such a big franchise that any mistake will make people complain. Normally, the Pokemon games are very very restricted. But they released now a spin-off game. It isn't a main game, but it's already a step forward to changing that perspective of Pokemon of only being one thing. An open world exploration RPG, story focused, is going to be heavily focused on Arceus, which is a very important Pokemon. This is the way for the franchise to go. But there's an issue. And now let's talk to the third thing. Pokemon fans, as I said before, they're really critical, and Nintendo fans are really critical. There's the joke that no matter what Nintendo does, no matter what Nintendo announces, no matter what Game Freak announces, no matter what Pokemon thing is announced, everyone is going to scream and complain nonetheless, because it's never how people envision it, and that's almost a joke. And a lot of people have been talking about this because, of course, when Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which are the remakes, got announced, and when Pokemon Legends got announced, there were already people saying it's a disappointment, this is awful, we're not happy, fuck Pokemon. I don't think it's as much of a disappointment as some people are making out to be. I also don't think that saying that this is good, and you know why. The games look bad. I don't know how to say this. In the case of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, a lot of people are like misunderstanding why it looks bad. It doesn't look bad because it's chibi. I actually think that the choice of making the game chibi is like perfect, because it's really hard to try to emulate and adapt these old Pokemon games, and I think making it in a simplified, adaptive style is actually a very, very, very good choice. I think that was great. It wasn't well executed though. The graphics don't look good, and that's the same thing for Pokemon Legends. It looks like Genshin Impact, but with worse graphics. And Genshin Impact is a game that can run on mobile. And look, I'm not someone who is obsessed with graphics, okay? I'm really not. To me, as long as it's well stylized and it's decent, I really don't care. I'm a mainly Nintendo fan, and I think that already says that it's not my main priority. But look at that grass, the frame rate. It looked like the video was buffering multiple times. This is not a standard. This is not a quality that is acceptable for today's standards of graphics. And that made me think, because that's something that I think both Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl and Pokemon Legends have in common. Like, I think both of them don't have like great graphics. I think this is more apparent with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. This is also an issue that older Pokemon games had. I think one of the main things that people complained when Pokemon Sword and Shield came out was that the graphics were really oversimplified for the type of game that it was. This is a Switch game. Why does it still have 3DS graphics? You should have updated it. You should have made it more complicated. Not only this, but they recycled a lot of animations as well, especially the attack animations. In general, it seemed very unpolished. A lot of like that design aspect of the game. Does Game Freak not know how to like make graphics enter video games? Like, this should not be an issue. This is like the simplest part. Not the simplest part, it's really hard. But this is like the standard. What is expected from standard video game companies is to make, like, at the very least, something appealing for you to see, unless it's a particular stylistic choice to make it not polished, but this is obviously not the case. So it's insane that it's such a big company. It's literally one of the biggest franchises of the world. Like, not so many people know who Pikachu are, and yet the company just doesn't know how to do the graphics. Of course, that doesn't make sense. They could just hire people. So my understanding of what is going on. First of all, Game Freak keep outsourcing their games. The Gen 5 remakes are being outsourced to the same company that makes Pokemon Home. I do not remember the name of it. Wait, let me search. Pokemon Home And the remake of Gen 4 are in very different levels of what you need in terms of graphics. And I don't know how Pokemon Legends is being produced. They keep outsourcing things. They keep, I feel like, not paying attention with how they're going to get their games in terms of quality. And my theory to why that happens is because Pokemon has built a reputation and I guess like an expectation over the years of being a franchise that keeps coming back rather frequently. Because of the formulaic approach that the games have, Nintendo and Game Freak and Pokemon Company keep like coming back each year with games, and there's this image on the public view that the games are simple and mass-produced, that they keep coming. I think that Game Freak literally doesn't have time to do these games. Some people are saying that like, oh, it's okay that the graphics don't look that good. It's still the trailers. They're still working on it. But the point is, they say that Pokemon Legends is going to come out the beginning of next year, and I think Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl this year, if I recall. This is not enough time to polish everything. It's on the wrong frame rate. It's visibly not a finished project. That's not enough time to polish that much game. They visibly don't have time. This is probably the reason why they keep outsourcing everything and why everything seems rushed and not finished from them. Because I think that now execs are pushing it, so there's a new Pokemon game every year, or at the very least something from the franchise. And that's insane. That should not be the expectation here. That should not be what people are expecting. I think this should be something that more people are talking about, because there's so many debates in the gaming community, and there's so many topics about like crunch and how games should take longer to develop so it doesn't stress out its developers, and no one talks about Pokemon, which is a franchise that keeps putting out games almost every year, and the quality of those games are visibly being compromised. And I probably would bet that the people working on them, because we're not talking about Nintendo. Nintendo is really bad in a lot of things. I'm not gonna say that Nintendo's like great. They're really not. But at the very least, Nintendo is very good in their creative side and on their development side. At the very least, they take their time. Pokemon is not developed by Nintendo, it's developed by Game Freak. I think that the people working on these games are being crunched to hell, and no one saw. Like, of course, this is a very wild assumption, but with everything that we talked about, I feel like it's a very high possibility, and no one talks about it. So this is why I'm making this video, because to me it's insane. Also, about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, I mentioned Nintendo. Game Freak works very closely with Nintendo. Why don't they like try to get the same people who worked on A Link to the Past to do Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl? Because it's the same approach. And this is one of the reasons why I think the chibi is not the issue here. It's the graphics, because A Link to the Past is great. It literally did the same thing of making it cute and simplified to emulate that feeling of the old games, but more modern, and it did it in a fantastic way because it looks extremely pretty and stylized and beautiful. And the remakes of Gen 4 could have the same feeling, but they don't, because they feel scrapped out and put together, and it doesn't, like the grass looks so weird, and the models look out of place. It looks like they were made on like a little model maker. It's so sad. Holy shit, especially because Pokemon has so much potential. At the very least, they're going to the right direction with the open world game, and that's like going to the right direction, I guess. But they really they need to stop pumping out games every year. They need to quiet and try to do new things with the franchise, because it's going to collapse. Or not. Just unfinished games. They're going to keep releasing unfinished games, and more people need to talk about it. I don't really know how to finish this video.
Then allow me to do this.